Labor yesterday announced that they want free rapid antigen test access, not what was agreed to by National Cabinet. How would Labor's proposal work?
That's right, and thanks for having me on, Danica. Yes, look, we've considered options. We've, taken advice. We've looked at the situation that's unfolding across all of our communities right across Australia, bar WA. And we think that the most sensible way to provide access to testing is to make it rapid tests or home tests free through Medicare. We don't think it's beyond the federal government to be able to roll that out. They mail out health information and tests through the Medicare system already, and we think it's a priority to make sure that people get access to the tests that allow them to understand what's, their own health, their family's health, but also when they need to isolate and keep other people safe as well.
Yesterday, National Cabinet made the decision to support free rapid antigen tests for concessional card holders. Is that not enough? Why should people who are high income earners also be granted the same access?
Well, firstly, the issue here at the moment, the urgent crisis issue is there aren't tests. And so people aren't able to isolate and test themselves and check out what's happening. So that's the first major problem, and the problem that's led to the crisis we're now in, which is leading to crisis decision-making from National Cabinet because our current system of PCR tests isn't able to cope with the demand, and people aren't able to take responsibility for themselves, in the Prime Minister's language, and take a rapid test. So that's the first issue. The second issue is we operate in a system here, and the whole pandemic response has been one where we're all in it together, and huge amounts of funding has been provided to ensure that we're able to live safely. Now, providing rapid antigen tests to everybody is part of that same approach. For some reason, the Prime Minister all of a sudden doesn't believe that that's the way to go, and we think it is. We think it's fair. We've looked at options. We've considered what's happening around the country, and we're giving the government room to make sensible decisions in this space. But the first issue for the government is actually securing supply so people can have tests, and we believe a fair way forward is to make them free to anybody who needs one, and that no one should be denied access to a rapid test.
As another change that was made was that a person no longer needs a PCR test to confirm if they have COVID, if they've already tested positive on a rapid antigen test. Yesterday, the Prime Minister described Omicron as a game changer. So do counting cases and case numbers really matter anymore?
Well, I think from my point of view, we've been spending the last 2.5 years counting cases. And being told to monitor the case numbers and to change our behaviour according to that information. And then all of a sudden it seems like because we're losing control through testing and the amount of cases that are actually presenting, we're going to change all of the way we've been handling this pandemic. So if it's based on health advice that you don't need a PCR test once you've had a positive rapid test, if you're lucky enough to be able to find one of those, then that's fair enough. But if it's based on the fact that we're, losing control, don't have enough resources, system are getting swamped, then I think that's a different matter. And I think it's reasonable enough for people to feel concerned about not being given all the information that we've all been watching for the duration of this pandemic. I think it's confusing, it's complicated, and it doesn't, certainly watching yesterday's press conference didn't fill me with confidence that the federal government knew what was actually happening on the ground in communities right across Australia.
I just want to get your thoughts very quickly on some breaking news in regards to Novak Djokovic. Just seeing on social media that his visa has been cancelled. He's been told to leave the country today. Do you think that that is the right decision?
Well, I've only just heard what you've said there. I've seen the reports in the paper. Look, to me, it looks very messy. It doesn't look like we actually know what we're doing in terms of border access, and that's a worry. But I think most Australians would hope that the rules that apply to us apply to anybody else and that they've been applied consistently. But it looks very messy from where I sit to have someone, hop on a plane, arrive here and then get turned around.
Yeah, bit of breaking news without warning there. Senator Katy Gallagher, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks very much, Danica.